We're live. All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties, people. We're running about 12 minutes late and we apologize off the start. Welcome to episode 230, Full Armor Part 2. It's 230 of the Guide and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guide guns and the responsible Christian gun owners' interests. On this week's show, we'll be continuing our series on the Full Armor of God Part 2 and talking with Savannah Lindquist. Lindquist? Help me out, Savannah. Did I pronounce it wrong?
Lindquist, you're right.
Lindquist, okay. First, I want to thank our BAMA sponsor, Farms Radio Network. We want to thank all the guys that have all the shows over there. Of course, especially Sean. Don't want to forget about Sean Heron, president over there. He's doing a lot of cool things, trying to promote all of our shows right now. So if you've not checked out the shows over there, please do. Also, we want to thank who?
Ammo.com. And they are our newest sponsor. We welcomed them on board a couple of weeks ago. Ammo.com, go check them out. They got good prices on stuff. And for an order of $200, they will give you a $20 off coupon when you check out if you use our promo code God and Guns. And they have some good stuff over there. It's a pretty good deal. So go check them out. Ammo.com. And also, last but not least, you've heard us talk about them, our sponsors, Crossbreed Holsters. We've told you before, if you're carrying a gun on your person in your vehicle or got one next to your bed, you should be carrying in a Crossbreed. Troy and I carry in our Super Tuck Deluxe, and we love it. It's the most comfortable holster you will ever wear. So go check our buddies out at Crossbreed Holsters, crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross.
Carry the cross. I want to thank Patriot Patch Company. There's a camera.
New patch?
Got a new patch. It's a bunny for Easter. It's better in color. Let's see if we can get purple bunny. Oh, it's too close to the camera.
Too close.
Must have some green screen's messing everything up. Can you see it? That's the reflection off the cellophane.
No.
It's a bunny with a bomb.
On an F-16 or something?
Some kind of an airplane.
Nice.
I'm sure my daughters will claim that quickly since it's purple, one of their favorite colors. All right, so first off, we do want to thank Savannah for being with us. She is the guest for tonight, and Doug is going to read her bio, so we know who she is.
All right. Tonight, Savannah, thank you for coming. Savannah is the Development and Communications Coordinator for Ladies of Liberty Alliance, LOLA, as an advocate for both believing survivors and the Second Amendment. She used her experience with sexual violence to explain the importance of self-defense and the flaws in gun control. She recently took her activism to Capitol Hill when she was invited to testify in front of the House Judiciary Committee in opposition of Pelosi-backed H.R. 8, Bipartisan Background Check Act of 2019. Her activism has been featured in various outlets, I ain't got my glasses on, including Politico, One American News, NRA TV, which I watched that one, CNN, which I watched that one too. I didn't like it, but I watched it. And what is it? Circa? What is it? Circa, sorry. As a former Temple Owl and current Old Dominion monarch, she has extensive experience with on-campus activism, for which she is the recipient of the 2017 Benita. Dude, you picked the wrong dude to read the big one.
Yeah, Kentucky people, man. We have trouble with anything over 4 letters.
I know. Grievous Distinguished Ambassador Award from the Foundation of Economic Education, FEE, and a member of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Education, FIRE. Prometheus Society. In her spare time, she's a volunteer as a crisis counselor with Crisis Text Line. You can find her in the back corner of coffee shops or on Twitter.
Wow.
I got through that mostly.
You're a busy girl, man.
She is.
I don't sleep.
Apparently. So that's Lola, right? That's how you pronounce
Lola,
it?
yeah.
Lola.
Now, you have more than you're part of more than just one advocate. I
Advocacy,
give up. It's too late.
advocacy.
I've been watching grandbabies today. I've been shooting guns.
Oh,
I'm all messed up. So let's hear about your stories, man. We Doug had shared it with me, and I've not heard it, but just I read your article that you had released. Well, it was today, wasn't it?
I had an op-ed published today.
Okay.
The article that he might be talking about, the one that ran in the Inquirer, was like a week and a half ago, I think. The feature.
Oh, okay.
But yes, so my name's Savannah. I'm 24. I live in Norfolk, Virginia. I am a survivor of sexual violence. During my senior year of college, I was raped, and I ended up dropping out and sort of withdrew into myself for a while. And then, I got to the point where I started wanting to speak out, mainly just because I grew up around guns. I don't ever remember there not being a gun in the house. My grandpa had them, both my grandparents, my dad, my mom, my stepdad, everyone. And so I just always grew up knowing about responsible gun ownership, all that kind of stuff. And when I was 10 years old, after enough begging, my pop-up finally agreed to teach me how to shoot a gun. But he said I had to prove that I was responsible first. So I had to read the instruction manual, and I had to be able to field strip it and clean it, and I had to be able to put it back together, all those sort of things. And then once I did that, he let me go out in the backyard with a BB gun. And once I was able to hit the target consistently, he took me to my local gun range and taught me how to shoot a handgun, and it just kind of went from there. I'm 24 now, so I'm a gun owner myself now. But due to various gun laws, I didn't have my firearm with me when I went to school when I was raped. And, I've sort of dedicated my life to speaking out about, sexual violence and, rape and sexual assault, but also encouraging women to look into self-defense. I always say, if you don't want a gun, don't get one. But I definitely want, to promote responsible gun ownership, and just, hopefully one day, making a difference, letting people know they're not alone, and, trying to get rid of all these ridiculous gun control laws that, are the reason that I was left defenseless. I don't want anyone to ever have to go through the things I did. So that's sort of where I'm at now. I speak publicly. Like, my bio said, I testified in front of Congress back in February. Just trying to spread the word and show people that even though the media doesn't like to admit this, there are countless examples of people who are victimized by gun control. And I am very thankful to have my faith and everything, and to know who I am and what I stand for. And I just don't want anyone to ever have to go through what I did. So if I have to bare my soul to the world, here I am.
I couldn't imagine going through something like that, and then, but you took the stand to go public with it and use that pain to help others know of the dangers out there, and that everyone has a right to defend themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And no matter where you go, I feel that that's a God-given right, and the Congress uh, and the founding fathers gave us that right and recognized that right, and then they acknowledged that right, and then they included it into the Bill of Rights. So the government really has no ability legally, in my opinion, to prohibit you from defending yourself with a firearm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, self-defense is a human right. I know that people that don't that aren't familiar with guns can be scared by them. I get it. It's, things you don't understand are scary. But when it comes down to it, I should have the right to defend myself. If I can carry a gun in my grocery store, why can't I carry one when I go to class? Like, especially when campus sexual violence rates are so high. And, we push that over and over again, but they stop short of letting us defend ourselves.
Right. Well, do you think that the culture of college or all education is to try to keep people or train them to be fearful and that they have to be afraid of guns and they have to be afraid of uh, trying to defend themselves? They should be relying on someone else. Do you think it's sort of a cradle kind of a mentality?
Yeah, I remember my freshman year, or I guess it was the summer before my freshman year, when you go to orientation, and we had that huge presentation about consent and safety and all of that kind of stuff, which is great, and that's obviously very important and should be taught. But I remember them saying over and over again, like, you don't have to worry, um, because I went to Temple, and I don't know if it's still true, but at the time, they had like the largest police force of any university, which makes sense because they're in North Philadelphia.
Mhm.
Uh, but they would say that over and over again, and campus police also patrolled off campus. And so, I knew that terrible things could happen, but you never think it's going to happen to you. Um, but I think a lot of the culture of universities, especially now, is I don't know if it's so much helplessness, but it's more just like always relying on someone else versus being self sufficient.
Mhm.
Um, and, as much as the law enforcement system, criminal justice, system should be reformed in this country, at least in my opinion, you know, police can't be everywhere. They just can't. It's not realistic. And, sometimes violent things only take seconds to unfold. And, the fastest responding police officer isn't going to be able to get there in time.
Right.
But they still tell you to rely on that.
Yeah. Well,
It's
it's a false
hypocritical.
hope. It's a false
Yes,
hope. Uh,
absolutely.
the So when I was at school at U of L, I went to University of Louisville, and U of L is in. It's sort of a. It was a declining neighborhood,
Hmm.
but the college is not closed off. I mean, people walking up and down the streets walk right through the college properties, and there was a lot of the college uh, housing was outside of the educational centers were set outside of that, and so they had rules about not carrying guns and things like that, but I carried my pistol with me. I took a pistol with me to college, and so I'm in my dorm room on a Saturday morning. I worked at UPS at night, and I went to school during the day. And so I got off from work. It was about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Came in, went to bed, and I heard the window in my dormitory getting opened, and
Hmm.
somebody got a screwdriver and is pushed my window open. And I'm half asleep because I've been asleep about an hour. And I look over and I'm seeing something moving at the curtain. And I reach down and I get my pistol beside my bed and I pull it up. And as the guy sticks his head in my window, I cock the hammer back. I said, "You picked the wrong room." He goes, "Yes, sir, I did." He backed out the window and never saw him again. But
There you go.
that was in 1987. So we're talking a long time ago. They would have not probably gave me. I mean, they might have said, "Don't do it, take it off campus." They might have kicked me out of school, but I
Oh,
was.
you'd go to prison now.
Oh yeah, now, but no, not now because I got a license now. But
Oh,
so, but in 1980, I mean, I remember when I was 16 and 17 years old, I'd have a rifle in my car because we were farm boys. I have a rifle and
mhm.
shotgun in the back window of my truck. I have a pistol in the glove box, and the local police, they didn't have any problem with it. And so I think that the whole thing has become down through I think it's through the education system, predominantly pushed by a certain party that is trying to get everyone to be reliant upon the God of government,
Mhm.
and that the police are going to protect you. Oh, every police officer I know, they say we can't be everywhere. There's no way they can be everywhere. I mean, the average response time here in our county, I've got a scanner, and I hear a call go out. I'll hear how long it takes them from the time they get the call until the time that they show up. It'll be sometimes an hour after,
Wow.
and that's just a small county. We don't have a lot of crime, but out here in the middle of sticks, but sometimes it's 12 minutes, sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's an hour. Sometimes one day they had so many, they were calling in state police to come in and help out because they had so many different things going on. It was just one of those crazy days. And they had like 2, 3 hour wait times for people to get a call to the police. So, the whole fallacy that the police can be there or can protect you, um, it's a lie. I love the police. I like a lot of the guys that, and know a lot of people in police and law enforcement, but they can't be everywhere. And the responsibility for your safety is you.
Absolutely. I mean, you can also look at the tragic shooting that was in Parkland in that high school. The Unfortunately, those were some bad apples in that police department, but they waited outside and just let children be murdered
Yeah.
inside when they're supposed to be safe in school. I mean, obviously, the vast majority of police officers are good, honest men and women, but not all of them are. And sometimes when put in an awful situation, the police freeze. They're human just like we are. And so ultimately you can't rely on another man to save you. It's
Right.
up to you.
Yeah, the Supreme Court twice has ruled that a police officer owes you no duty to, put their life in harm to defend you. You're on your own.
Exactly. But no one seems to know that. Like they think that the police are every single one is willing and required to like jump in front of a bullet to save you, but that's not how it is.
No, I mean they're not required to. I'm sure there are a lot that would,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
but the chances of you getting a dud, you don't know. I mean, and even if you have your own gun, you don't have the assurance that you're going to be able to stop something. Uh,
Well, yeah.
but at least you have the opportunity. So my wife was reluctant to carry, and since we started dating, I was like, she's a city girl, I'm a country boy. I grew up, with guns like you. I had guns. I can't even remember when I started shooting. That was how long it was, before had good memories.
We were
But
young.
yeah, we were young. But my wife, she grew up in town. That she hadn't shot any guns, things like that. So she was reluctant to shoot, and I never forced her. I said, I want you to have a gun at least with you. That way, if you choose to do it, so you use it, you have it. And I taught her how to shoot, and she knew
Hmm.
how to shoot, and she knew how to safely handle it. And she was always worried the kids would get it, so we got a gun with a safety on it because she was, thinking that that will slow them down if I see them trying to get into it. And I kept saying, if you put it on your body, the kids won't ever be able to access the gun. If you have it on you, they can't take it off of you. They can't. They're not going to be playing with it. But slowly over time, and as she saw the crime keep increasing, and she saw the attacks happening more and more, so now she's carrying. But if you were going to tell a lady that never had touched a gun before, what are the things that you had to overcome, or what kind of things do you see women have to overcome and feel comfortable to carry?
I think, it totally depends on the person, but I know one thing for me is I'm 4'9" and I have really small hands. So anytime I would see a gun, especially as a kid, I'd be like, it's so big. It's like, I can't shoot that. Like the recoil is gonna break my hand. So I think a lot of it is just starting slowly. If you're scared to shoot a gun, just take it apart. Like, once you field strip a gun, it's literally just a bunch of parts, and it makes it a lot less scary. And there's also no shame at all in asking for help, asking a friend of yours, a family member, a colleague, or like a trainer at the range, just saying, hey, I'm a woman and I have heard all these, scary statistics about, you know, a rape and sexual assault or murder or whatever. And I want to learn how to defend myself with a gun because it's reliable a heck of a lot more times than not. When you pull the trigger, it's going to go off. And also that, there's no shame and just saying, hey, I want to do this. Can you teach me how? Even the friends of mine that I have that hate guns and are scared of guns, they know that there's an open offer that if they ever want to hold one, even unloaded, if they ever want to go to the range, it's available. So I would say definitely don't feel dumb asking questions Because I know in the super pro gun community, when everyone's like, oh, did you see the trigger on the whatever? That can be really intimidating if you have no idea what any of that is. But I can assure you that, the gun community is full of a bunch of really nice people that are more than willing to help. So just ask.
People usually have a fallacy about guns because they see it on TV. So they think, well, guns kick and they're bad. Hey, I started, like you and I were talking about the other day. I started my girls off, and they're the same age you are, and I started them off when they were young. When I come home from the range, they would help me take the guns apart. They'd help me clean the parts. They'd help me put the guns back together. And a lot of people, have this false sense that just because you have a gun in your house, there's a child going to get shot. Like your grandfather taught you about guns. He didn't hide them from you. Nope. Just like I didn't hide them from my kids, just like Troy doesn't hide them from his kids. They know what they are. They know what they do, and they just don't go find, like in the old days, when Dad used to keep a loaded 38 in the sock drawer, and you're in there digging around and you find it. You're inquisitive. Kids are inquisitive, but if you teach them, it's not an issue.
Yeah, I knew what it was. I knew what it did. I knew to not touch it.
Exactly.
It just was what it was. I never, I know so many people that if they're out in public and they see someone with a holster on their hip, they're scared. I have always, if I ever am in public and see someone carrying, I immediately feel safer because I know that, very much like me, I hope, and I pray that I never have to pull that firearm. But if I do, I'm prepared to defend life.
If I see somebody carrying in public and I see their gun, sometimes I feel safer, sometimes I don't.
That's true. If it's like rusted out, if it's like rusty and the holster has like a hole in it that shouldn't be there, then yeah, I get it. But usually I'm like, okay, we're good.
Troy and I are both believers that I'd rather not have somebody see my gun, me carrying it. And if I have to pull it, they're going to be surprised when it does happen. So I would rather, I'm a firm believer in that. I'd rather you not know I have one on me, which anybody that knows me pretty much knows I have one on me. But, the bad guys don't.
Yeah, I honestly never open carry just because, so I live in Norfolk, Virginia, which is a military town. It's sort of inner city. There's a huge, the crime rate's ridiculous here. And so anyone that knows me knows that I'm usually carrying. But I never open carry ever. It's either in a holster, like on my hip, or wearing a belly band. But I never, I just never open carry.
I like Norfolk. Was it the Anfib base? The Navy's Anfib base is there. I got to tour that back in the 90s. That's just too cool.
Yeah, it's a cool place to be. I hated it until I left for college, and then I was like, wait, Norfolk's great. Like, why did I ever hate it here?
So, Savannah, you and I were talking the other day, and your stepdad, right? I think you said retired Navy?
Yeah, my dad and my stepdad were in the Navy for a long time. And after my stepdad retired, he now works for the DOD.
I see the shadow box behind you with the flag in it, and I have one in my house that looks just like that.
That was the flag. My pop-up, the one that taught me how to shoot, unfortunately passed away in 2016.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And that's the flag that my grandma was given at the funeral, but she asked if I would keep it in my room, and obviously I said yes. So
yeah,
it's right there.
I see it.
It's cool. I've got my Uncle Bill's. He was in World War II. He started fighting in Africa, and he fought all the way up through Italy, all the way into Germany. He got 3 Purple Hearts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, my great grandfather was in World War II. He got shot in the foot or something and had a Purple Heart, but none of us know where it is. And his military records were the ones that got destroyed in that fire years and years ago. So it's a bit of a mess, but yeah, I come from a military family for sure.
Great.
So I had a question for you. So tell everybody knows what Troy and I carry for our everyday carry guns. So tell us what you carry. So
it sort of depends on my outfit. I know that's That's such a like girl thing to say, but
No, I
um,
wear different guns if I'm
We
wearing
do,
shorts
we
to
do
the
too.
beach.
so if I'm wearing something that's like more fitted, I just carry a Kel-Tec 32 because it's tiny, it fits in my hand, um, easy, and I'm really comfortable with it because that's the exact gun that my pop-up originally taught me how to shoot with. But then if I'm wearing something that's like a little more baggy, or if I'm going someplace that I'm like a little more scared, I carry a 9.
Yeah.
Um, that's just they're the two guns that I'm definitely the most comfortable with. So it just sort of depends on my outfit for the day.
The gun you will carry and every day is the one you need to be carrying. I mean, the one that you'll carry and use. You know how to use it. That's what you need.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool deal.
Troy and I, we try to dress and match our guns too.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, my pop-up had showed me some magazine or something. And he's like, "Look, this gun's pink, this one's blue, this one's purple." And I was like, like that's so cool. I think he was just trying to get me to like guns, but I already did at that point, so it's fine.
I just built my daughter a purple AR-15 pistol.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's got a 10.5 inch barrel on it, and it's got all purple furniture and hardware on it. So,
Awesome.
oh well. So tell us how our listeners can find out more about you and how they can support the organizations that you're working with. If there's ways they can support you, or ways they can help you promote you, or get you on other shows to get your message out there to as many people as possible.
Sure. So I'm in the process of setting up a website, which have the domain. I'm just doing all the like back end stuff now. It'll just be savannahLindquist.com. You can also find me on Twitter or Instagram at Savannah May Says. My middle name is May, like MAE. Um, there's that. Also, so the organization I work for is called the Ladies of Liberty Alliance. We go by Lola. You can check out Lola at ladiesofliberty.org. And there you can find our chapters. You can see the kind of stuff we do, as well as how to donate if you're interested in supporting women that love liberty.
Cool. Well, anything else you want to share with us before we wrap it up for tonight?
But before she goes, I
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to tell the CNN story, what you told us just before we actually went on the air, when you and I were just talking about when you went to the CNN thing.
Yes. So the day of the March for Our Lives, march in it was like almost exactly a year ago, a little more than a year ago. I was invited to be on the Van Jones show on CNN as one of two pro-gun voices. It was myself and a young man named Jace, who is also, a huge gun rights activist. So in the interview, Van just sort of talked about my assault and why I support gun rights and self-defense and all of that. But the craziest thing about the whole interview was it was this room full of people that all of them had experienced something awful. Every single person in the audience besides my and Jace's guests were survivors of mass shootings or had lost someone in a mass shooting. So it was a room full of that, the Parkland survivors were on the stage. I mean, and these are amazing, brave kids. Like, even though I don't agree with their politics, there's no way that I, at like 16, would be willing to go on CNN. But the craziest thing was, the whole show was about how guns are bad and oh, the Second Amendment doesn't protect X, Y, and Z because it was written so long ago. That was the whole premise of the show. But what they didn't show, what the cameras didn't show, and what no one seemed to mention was there were two doors to this that you walked in to like get in the studio. Then they had the audience and they had the stage. But right outside the door was a security officer, and he was armed. He had a 45 on his hip. And I remember walking in and seeing it and just being like, is this real? Like, there's no, like, if guns are bad and if guns are dangerous and if guns kill, then why do you have someone with a gun in the like anti-gun episode of a program on CNN? It was kind of weird. I don't like, yeah, I'm very hypocritical, but I can't really say that I'm surprised. Um, a lot of the whole Hollywood thing is, well, I have private security and so I don't need a gun, so no one needs a gun. But yeah, there was an armed security guard there.
Wow. I think we just lost Doug. Yeah, that's crazy. It's it's okay for them to have it, but not for us because there's different levels of citizenry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people are more equal than others, as they say. What 1984, George.
Yeah,
Some animals more. What is it? Some animals are more something than the other. I'm going
of
back
course
to
I'm
years.
blanking on it now, but
Yeah, so we appreciate you coming on. I don't know what happened to Doug. I know he's on call a lot of times, and he just disappears and
all
flies
good.
away. But all is good. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, Savannah. And anytime you have any new news, let us know about it, and we'll be glad to have you back on. Any kind of new things coming out when your website gets up and going. Doug's back with us. When your website gets up and going, send us that link.
Yeah, for
We'll
sure.
post it on the show on our Facebook and all our media.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for sharing such a horrible experience.
Yeah, I try very hard to find a silver lining. So, like I said earlier, I had an op-ed published today in the Philadelphia Inquirer. It was online today, and it'll run in print tomorrow. And my mom has various health issues. She's a brain cancer survivor, and her physical therapist was at the house, and I had read my mom the op-ed that had just been published, and my stepdad was getting home from work as the physical therapist was leaving, and the physical therapist was just an older African American woman who, I mean, I didn't know her. She was very nice, and she told my stepdad that she really liked it and wanted to know how she could go about learning about responsible gun ownership. And
Cool.
so I think that there's a lot to be said about that. We're just be nice to people.
Right.
Just be nice to people, and they, all of the crazy stereotypes about the gun community will fade away.
Right. Yeah, we've got all of Hollywood and all of the left and all of fake news pushing an agenda. So we're up against a lot.
We are, but ultimately, the thing I take the most comfort in is, no matter how much hate mail I get or like evil things people have said and wished upon me, the facts are on my side, so that makes my job a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Once you get to the point where you don't really care what other people say, and
Oh
you're
yeah,
going to stand on truth and you're going to stand on what's right, and all that stuff just
exactly.
evaporates.
I know who I am and I know what I stand for, and I know what God says about me. So like whatever some random person on Twitter says in a direct message is nothing compared to, the one that gave it all.
Amen. That's a great testimony.
We have some folks over that I'm chatting with. Actually, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh yeah, I'm not muted. Sorry, I lost y'all for a minute. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My router died, and I had to switch over to my phone to get back up in line. So anyway,
wow.
But anyway, some folks over online I'm chatting with said to tell Savannah that she sounds like an amazing young lady, and you
Aw,
are.
thank you.
So you got plenty of support here. This is not CNN by any means.
Yeah, y'all are a lot nicer.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're welcome back anytime, and we don't want to tie you up. Any last things, Doug, since you disappeared for a while, I want to make sure.
Yeah, can you go over that last couple minutes there? Because I missed it.
You just have to rewind it.
Yeah, I'll go back and watch because everything died. I'm like, okay, did I die or did Troy die?
I've got it on
Nope.
VHS. I'll send you a copy.
I know, right? We're old school. Savannah, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us tonight.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks for having me. I can send you guys the links that I mentioned, website and Twitter and all that.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, we'll drop them in our show notes. That way you guys can find them whenever they're watching or listening to the episode.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And it was great to talk with y'all.
Right. Good night.
You too. Good night.
Bye.
She gone.
She gone.
All right, she gone. All right, so we have had all kinds of technical difficulties. So I don't know if you guys can see me. I think I'm blurry. The window it's supposed to be coming up is not.
I can see you.
It's a good thing we ain't professionals.
No doubt.
We can be criticized then, since we're just a couple of hacks. And actually, you're a professional. I'm just a wannabe farmer.
Yeah, me
All
too,
right.
kind of, sort of.
So this week's guided and good activities, Doug. Where are you at?
Let's see. Let me get over to show notes here and see what I have been doing. Oh yeah. So Sportsman's Daily Devotional, been doing that. Also shared it with my son-in-law. I've been sharing those with him now, who got saved this past week. So that's a
Awesome.
great thing. Awesome. So
Praise God.
can already see a change in his life
Awesome.
since we did this.
Now,
So
which one was this?
this is Alex.
Alex. Okay.
So yep. So that's an awesome thing, and he's asking me questions now, and he's on the right track. So that's a very good thing. So he likes me. He hunts, fishes, all that good stuff. So I thought the Sportsman's Daily Devotional he would like, and he has. So, and it's been pretty cool. They have been spot on. The things that I've been talking to him about have been like the daily devotionals. So odd how God works in that way, huh?
Yep.
The gun side, of course, everyday carry. Been carrying my Glock. Still doing a little bit of pig hunting. My other son-in-law, Matt, just dissed me tonight and wound up taking his dad out hunting and just left me out in the cold. Didn't give me the invite, so I texted him while ago. I was like, I appreciate it. I see how it is now. And I said, anyway, they got a bunch on camera the last 2 days, just coming in, like 15 or 16 of them in a group, and so hopefully he'll get out. Which we just put together a brand new Palmetto State AR-10, and got it all put together for him the other day. He sighted it in, got it all set, so that's what he's hunting with tonight. So I told him with that 308, make sure he gets 2 or 3 lined up right in a row when he pulls the trigger, and he can probably blast through all of them, those little younger ones.
Skewer them.
Skewer them. That's right. Absolutely. Let's see what else. Man, I was going to tell you, I was sick this past week. My wife was sick. We got some kind of a stomach bug going around. Working at a hospital, you never know. I get junk all the time, even though I use if I have to go into the hospital, I use hand sanitizer like crazy, especially if I have to go to the lab or someplace like that. But, the guys go over there all the time. Even if I'm not in the hospital, they're bringing stuff back. So who knows where it came from. They've been sick, and a couple of the kids have been sick with it. And it got me the other day, and man, it wasn't funny. I told my wife yesterday, I think I broke a rib when I was hurling so hard the other night.
You blowing chucks?
Oh man, it was horrible. So, but it lasted about 24 hours. I was tired the next day. I went to work. I felt better. I was just tired, from being up and being beat on, it felt like. But today, hey, back in action. Good to go. I did get a report today from the place that's doing the work on my truck, trying to fix it. And you'll be happy to know the Arkansas recreational vehicle is almost back in one piece again, and it's fixing to head to paint. So they told me hopefully I'll have it. I should have it back this coming week, I hope. So we'll see. But other than that, man, just been staying busy. What you been up to?
Oh man, it's been 2 weeks since we've been on, and it seems like it's been a month. All the stuff that I've been doing. So we got I've been taking care of the pigs, the cows. Feel like pigs. Been taking care of the pigs. Got the well working, and then the well line broke. Oh, we had a hydrant bust. Replaced the hydrant. Now we have a water line break. So now we got that going on. Had the hydraulics go out on the skid loader, so I had to get that fixed. Just got that back. All kinds of stuff here on the farm. Need to plant some blueberry plants. I got. What else? We'll do all the farm stuff first. Went
Hey,
around.
check your camera too. Your focus isn't changing for some reason.
Um, uh, it could be a nightmare if we open up that can of worms, Doug. You're just gonna have to look at me fuzzy. That's all.
It's not you. It's focused on me.
It's focused on you. Oh,
Mhm.
yours is because your phone's not got enough bandwidth.
There. Now you switched.
Can you see me now?
I do see you.
Okay. All right. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So looks like I'm still up. All right. So just working on the farm. I did some dozing. We had a tree fall across the fence line. Got it cut off. Got it fixed. We had some flooding. Had to go get all the tree limbs and corn stalks off of the fence. The waters got up like 2 feet, 3 feet deep. So I had the bottom line of the fence all covered up. So I had to get that cleared off. What else we have going on? I went to Florida. I got back. I think we've been on since I've been back from Florida, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think so. So I went down, took my parents down, came back, saw you. Yeah, because we talked about having a cigar and dinner. What else did we do? So I had security last week. I think I had security the week before that because we didn't have anybody sign up. Our computer systems were down. Our cameras were down. Our iMac door locks were down. They think it was a lightning strike. Took out all that stuff like Saturday night, and so I had to like manually or like just walk around everywhere and check everything out. Ran into two people that were in the building they weren't supposed to be in, and had to escort them into the church. So wasn't nothing anything dangerous, just usual stuff. What else do we do? Spring break for the kids at our church, so we didn't have any service Wednesday night. And I know there's a lot of other stuff. Worked on the dozer, ran the dozer yesterday. Made a Had to make a opening through the creek since we'd moved away. All the trees grew up in the creek, and so the crossings were all clogged up with trees. So I took the dozer through and cleaned those out last night, so I could go through with the four wheeler and check fences, getting ready to move the cows from the upper pasture down to the lower pasture. And then today I signed me and a gunner up for a 2-day carbine class. Bulwarks is putting on. It's going to be over near Winchester, Kentucky, Saturday and Sunday. So we got out the carbines, and I reconfigured the. I've got the Falcor. I'm taking it, and then I'm going to take the Axelson as a backup. Either one of those should do, but that's a Falcor Reese. I won that at the Interior Alliance event up in Montana a few years back, and it is a very, very nice gun, better than my ability to shoot, but I did shoot well with it. So I went in, I moved the red dot off of my little AR pistol that I usually keep with me to this one because it's going to be a short range carbine class. It's not going to be a long range. We're not shooting 300 yards or anything like that. It's going to be up close work.
EOTech.
Yeah, it's EOTech. I bought the one with the AA batteries because those little short ones that they make that use those weird batteries that are harder to find.
CR123s.
No, they use some kind of battery. It's a little bit harder to find, not common on the shelves anywhere. And this one just uses AA's, and it's night vision compatible too.
Nice.
So I could put a night vision in front of it, or I could put the magnifier on the back of it. So it's really adaptable. I really like the EOTechs, and they're really rugged. I mean, I've beat this thing. It's got scratches and scars all over it. I don't know if you can't really see it on that camera, but I really like this. I really like this Falcor Reese. It's just an accurate gun. We were shooting offhand. I mean, I had it slung, and I was shooting offhand at 50, sitting at 50 feet. It's usually at about 55 feet. It's good till 200 yards, pretty much, with a red dot. And I set it out there, and I was having groups about I don't know if you can see it, about that big offhand with that rifle. That rifle's a lot more accurate than I'm able to hold it steady. But Gunner was doing good too. We set up Gunner. I've got had a Wyndham weaponry AR-15. It's I guess it would be it's a flat top. What is that? M4 design, M4 look. But it's a shorty. I mean, it's a 16-inch carbine, but he was drilling with it, man. I lubed it all up with frog lube and went all over everything and greased it up, slicked it up, put his flip up sights on it, and he was nailing it. He had a whole lot of them, all one big ragged hole. He'd have 3-4 rounds in one hole. Offhand, I was like, man, I wish I was as steady as he is. I had two groupings. We were shooting 5-round groups and walking them in, moving it into the just offhand. We didn't put it on a bench. And my last group was about 5 rounds, about that big, right where I wanted them. So I called that good and came to the house. Mosquitoes are biting.
That's like this one. I don't know if I've ever showed you this one or not. Palmetto State. It's got the 15-inch handguard on it. Actually, yeah, it's a 15, and but it's got the Vortex Viper.
Yeah, I got one. I got the same scope.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I had it on this rifle, and but this class is going to be a fast-moving operator type class. I don't know if it's an operator, but it's a fast-moving, up-close kind. And I just didn't like that much of a long range on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I've got that. I'm going to move that one over to. I've got another AR that's in the build process. It's got a 223 Wild barrel in it. Set that one up for coyotes. So did that, and I was teaching gunner pistol this afternoon. There's going to be pistol and carbine. Found out later that he wants us to have pistol so we can do transition from rifle to pistol and pistol back to rifle. So I set him up with a Glock 19. I think Glock 19 Gen 3. I've got 3 of those now, I think. I've got 2 of the kits to build 2 more. So I set him up with one of those, and he just put some sights on it. The sights that are on there are just standard Glock night sights, which that front sight's it didn't really pick up well.
Build me one while you're building.
It is. You just pick up parts over time, and then before you know it, you got a whole drawer full of stuff to build stuff with. It's like these ARs. I started pulling out stuff. I'm like, I didn't know I had that. And I put that on there. And I'd be digging for something. Like, oh, I forgot I had that. And I put that on there. You find stuff on clearance, or you find stuff that's too good to pass up on Devore or some gun store, and you find AR mags for $5 a pop. And I bought. I found at least 40 AR mags I picked up over the last 15 years that. I buy them when they're $5, $6, $7. You see a 10 of them for a package deal on Palmetto State or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just throw them in a tote, and so Gunner said, I need some mags, and so I started digging, and I found like 20 of the hex mags. I really like those. You ever use those?
I do too. I do. I like
the hex mags. I like those, and I like Troy mags. And I like Magpul mags. There's nothing wrong with Magpul mags, but I like those hex mags. I just like the way they feel. And I like that orange follower.
Mm-hmm.
You see it pop up, you're out.
You're focused on me again for some reason.
You're so pretty.
Yeah.
It's better than me. Age before beauty. Is that how it goes?
Sometimes I liked it better when we just talked.
Yeah, I know. But people, for some strange reason, wanted the misery of looking at this for some reason. So
we have faces for radio.
Yeah, I'm not following anybody. If somebody's talking to me over there on the side, I'm doing good just to keep the camera up on this tonight. I don't know what's going on here.
I've been chatting with everybody.
Okay, as long as you're keeping them up to date.
Yeah, I think Bill wanted to know what your Bill or AJE. I think that's Andrew. I think that's who that is. He's changed his. He's changed his thing again. He won't know what your hat said. I told him it was Talking Lead.
Oh yeah, talking lead. That's Marty's, and used to be Zeke's show.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just Marty. I think Zeke's been on there a few times recently. No, I was just using this when I was out shooting. Have brass raining down, trying to keep it out of my beard, catch on fire. So I was shooting a little bit of the Glock 30S, and Gunner was shooting the 19, and I was showing him how to pull from concealment without shooting his foot, without shooting his hand, and he's doing good. He needs practice. I had him holding it too long, and he started dropping these shots. So I had to let him rest. Come up, take 2 shots, go back down. Come up, take 2 shots, go back. If you're not used to holding the gun up,
no,
it requires some strength. You think, oh, that thing don't weigh that much, but if you don't sit there and hold the gun and just train yourself to hold the gun steady, you'll start doing this, and then you'll start.
Hey, believe it or not, I practice that. I practice that in the house.
I do too. Well, I think some nuts.
Just bring it
Yeah,
up.
bring it up. Hold it on to something. Just hold it there. That just builds up your upper muscles. Yeah, just and sit there and hold it. Hold it.
I'll pick a target. I'll pick a light switch and I'll hold it on the light switch, and then I'll look at my next target and I'll move over and hold it on it. I'll just keep moving with it. And, it builds up muscle memory.
Yeah, it builds up your arms. People don't think that it weighs that much, but when you hold your arm, your arms themselves weigh something, and then you put a pistol out there. It's just like whenever we used to do carpentry work and stuff. You go on these mission trips, and the old timers have you hold a hammer out. Hold a hammer, or have you hold a sledgehammer. You ever have them do that? Hold the sledgehammer up. See if you bust yourself in the nose. I never busted myself in the nose.
No.
I hold a sledgehammer out like that. They say, you gonna bust yourself in the nose? No. But you get so weak, then all of a sudden it just quits, and then you pop yourself if you're not careful. But it's just a matter of building up your muscles. So we've gotten off rambling here. I don't even know where we're at. So my guide and gun stuff, that's pretty much that. I've got I have watched the grandkids all week. Not personally, but as a family unit, we've watched the grandkids all week.
Tim had unit.
We've take turns. We tag team. One's 7, the other one's 5, and they're full of energy. A lot more full of energy than I am. So I took care of them. I've been taking care of them usually in the mornings, and then kids as they get done with their schoolwork and stuff help out because they're on spring break. The grandkids are, and our kids were on spring break 3 weeks ago when we went to Florida. So, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. So, guide and gun stuff, that's pretty much it. I was supposed to go to Montana this weekend, but associate pastor took his wife instead of me. She's a lot prettier, so.
Oh, man.
I didn't get to go, which was probably okay, fine thing by me because I'm going this carbine class to improve my skills and gunner skills. And I'm looking through my notes here to see if there's anything else. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of stuff that'll probably pop up, but later on. Comedy Corner, you got a joke?
I do got a joke tonight. It comes to us from our buddy Andrew, who is actually over on the chat side on the YouTube chatting with me back and forth. I told him I was going to tell his joke, so he sent it to me today. I thought it was pretty funny.
In South America, Andrew?
Yeah.
He must be up here in Kentucky visiting on spring break or something.
I don't know, Andrew.
Are
you home, Andrew? Or are you still down in South America?
He hadn't. It takes a second for YouTube to catch up with what we're doing live, so he's probably just now hearing that.
Plus, it's still probably traveling, down south.
Yeah, with the border being closed and all.
Yeah, it stopped at the border.
So while we're waiting on him, I'll go ahead and read his joke. So a lady adopted a new parrot. Once she got it home, the parrot began cussing and swearing. She repeatedly tried to get the bird to stop cussing. So every time the bird would swear, she would lock him up in the closet for 10 minutes. After a week, she began getting frustrated because it not only did not work, he started swearing more. Finally, one day, she lost her temper and threw him in the freezer instead of the closet. After a few minutes, she got him back out. To her amazement, the bird began apologizing profusely for his past behaviors. He said, "I am terribly sorry for the language and the hurt and embarrassment that this has caused you. I promise that in the future I will try to be more respectful member of the family and refrain from using any more vulgar language." Uh, so she accepted the apology, and then the parrot said, "Do you mind if I ask one question?" And she said, "Sure." He said, "What did the chicken do?" He was fixing to get plucked and fried.
And chopped.
Chopped up. Andrew said he is in Guatemala.
He is in Guatemala. Wow. That is cool.
That took a long time to get down there, didn't it?
I know. Even at the speed of light. I don't know.
We're glad you're with us, and there was your joke, buddy. Thanks for sending it. Send me another one.
How's your older brother doing? We're curious. All right.
He's in what? Naval Preparatory School, right? Is that right?
Yeah, he might be.
He's not in the academy yet, is he?
I think that's preparatory to go to the academy.
Yeah, preparatory to go to the academy.
I think. But he might be done with that. Or I guess it'd be at the end of this year, wouldn't it? End of this year.
He wants to be a Marine, doesn't he?
He did.
As hard as I tried to get him to go Air Force, he still
or Navy. Anything but Air Force, man.
Andrew said he's almost graduated NAPS, Naval Academy Preparatory School.
Yeah, and then he would go on to Annapolis or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I follow him on Facebook. I see his pictures every once in a while.
Yeah, I see him from time to time. There's so many irons in the fire around here. I tell you. Speaking of which, I wonder if I put that food up for my wife. I was supposed to. Okay. So, where are we at? Okay, so we're done with the Bible verse. We know that. We're going to Bible verse. I am really messed up, guys. It's not my fault, but I am trying to keep it together tonight. So just bear with me. I am wore out. I got up this morning at 6 something. Being a retired guy. I sort of got in the habit of getting up around 7:30, 8:30, maybe later. Being up late at night. And this whole week, man, getting up at 6 something in the morning for them kids. Whew. And the wife's been sick for about 5 weeks now. Y'all pray for her. She's finally starting to quit coughing. She's had the flu. And then after the flu, she had bronchitis. And after bronchitis, she had some kind of chronic cough that caused her to get sick at her stomach. And then she's had a migraine 2 days this week with the grandkids here. So I'm running on about 5% battery life right at the moment. So if I just fall out on the floor here in a minute, y'all know what happened. Bible verse. So these are the whole Bible verses for the full armor of God. And then we're going to drill down into a couple of them. And then we're going to try to finish it up over the next week or two. So finally, I'm sorry, this is Ephesians 6 verses 10 through 20. I'm going off my memory here because I've already deleted the thing. Finally, be strong in the Lord and the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm. Standing therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace in all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, and which is the word of God, and praying at all times in the Spirit with all prayer and supplication. To that end, keep alert with all perseverance, making supplication for all the saints, and also for me, that being Paul, that words may be given to me, opening my mouth boldly to proclaim the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that I may declare it boldly as I ought to speak. Paul was not for lack of words. So, going up here, we talked last time about the helmet of salvation, and that it's important that we first be saved in order. That's part of your armor, that you first are saved. You have the knowledge of the gospel, and you have accepted that free gift which Jesus gives, and which is the only gift, which is the only thing which is acceptable to God as a sacrifice for the sin we have committed. And then after the helmet, we're going to go on to, where's my note? Sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. And then you guys are probably tired of me telling you, but if you don't know the scriptures, you don't know what God wants you to do, you don't have a sword. Where's my sword? I don't have a sword. I had a knife, but I think I moved it. I got a switchblade. Let me use it. So if you don't have, and it's not working because it needs a new spring. So if you don't have the Word of God, you have no defensive and offensive weapon. A sword can block the attacks of the enemy, and it can thrust and it can kill the enemy, right? Or it can injure, and it can chop away at the enemy, right? A sword has a sharp edge, but it can be used for defense and offense. And so is the Word of God. If we do not know the Word of God, and I know it's a daunting task to try to memorize the Bible, and I don't know it all. I know that the Bible says verses, and I can pretty much paraphrase a verse, and then I can go find it. I can paraphrase it, and I can Google it, or I can go to my Bible. I know it's going to be in Ephesians, or it's going to be in Romans, and I can find it pretty quickly. Like with the ESV, it's got headers at the titles of each of these little segments. It makes it a little easier to find things like that. But the more I read it, the more quickly I'm able to recite it, the more quickly I'm able to find it in the Bible. It just is going to take time. And so some people have photographic memories. I'm not one of those people, but they can look at scripture and they can memorize it, and Lord bless them. But that's not me. I've got to read it 1,000 times, and I'll still grammatically mess it up, and I'll mispronounce the words. I can guarantee it. But I know what the Bible says because I read it all the time, because I use it in my discussions and my debates and to support what I think. And then I go in there and look, and I think, and the guy says, no, you're wrong. This is what it says. Like, oh, okay. So I need to change my opinion on that subject. So we need to know the Word. The Word is the sword, right? So if we don't know the Word of God, we have no defensive tool. We have the helmet. We have the breastplate of righteousness. So let's go on the breastplate of righteousness. What's a breastplate, Doug? Doug, did you mute?
What's that now? I'm with you. What's your breastplate?
What's a breastplate?
Breastplate is the center of your chest.
Center of your chest. So back then, they had these arrows that come flying at you, and they had this big old thing made out of metal. Some kind of a malleable metal that they could mold, and it's shaped to form around your chest, like knight's armor. But they had, they didn't have it like the chainmail that they had, later on. And in medieval times, but back then they had a shield. A lot of the Roman soldiers had this shield that would protect them from arrows that would glance off of, right? Or if someone hit you with a sword, it would keep it from penetrating. It might, it might poke a hole in it and stuff. It wasn't great armor, but it was some armor. So the breastplate of righteousness means that the arrows of the enemy bounce off. If you're righteous, there's nothing for the enemy to be able to hit, right? The devil's always throwing things at you, always accusing you, always trying to attack you. And if you're doing what God has called you to do, if you're being a witness for God, the devil is going to throw stuff at you, guys. I can tell you, I've had about 3 weeks, 4 weeks of it now. Because the more I speak out for God, the more attacks I get, and the more I praise God because I'm on target. Apparently, I'm over the target because I am getting hit with all kinds of flack from all different directions, from people that I thought were my brothers and sisters in Christ, from family members, from people I don't even know. I mean, I am getting all those fire arrows, and they're just bouncing off, and it wears you out. But then when I get in the scripture to read, my strength is renewed, right? When I take time to pray, my strength is renewed. When I took time this afternoon, when I really didn't feel like it took Gunner out and we went out and went shooting, my strength was renewed. I felt better. I spent some time with Gunner. He was enjoying himself. I was enjoying myself. I wasn't, dealing with all this other stuff I've been dealing with. And I was able just to enjoy enjoy living. So when the devil fires his fiery darts at you, if you have the breastplate of I'm tired. Breastplate of righteousness. What is righteousness? Righteousness, as a pastor, and y'all have heard me say it a lot of times, is right with God. Righteousness is right with that you're in right standing with God. It means that you're in agreement with what God says about sin, about you, about your life, and about what He has for you. That you are walking hand in hand with God. That when you commit sin, that you're recognizing that as sin, and you confess that sin, and you agree with God that it was wrong, and you apologize, and you want to be right with God. You're turning from your sin and turning towards God. You're seeking God. So what is a righteous person? A righteous person who is one who recognizes the sin that they commit, and that they repent of that sin, and they want to be obedient to God, and they agree with God about what He says in the scriptures, and they are praying, they have communion with God. So when you're in a relationship with God, you're talking to God, you're listening to God, you're agreeing with God, you're confessing sins that you recognize in your life. You're righteous. You're not that it's earned, it's bestowed upon you by God, but it is that you're in a fellowship. You're recognizing the things that you need to work on. You're asking for leadership guidance. You're seeking out what God has you in the scriptures. So you're a righteous person. It doesn't mean that it's you. You're made righteous by God. You're made righteous by Jesus' sacrifice. We could not do it without Him. It all starts with Him. It's not our good works. It's His good works. It's not our knowledge, it's His knowledge. It's not our ability to debate, it's God's knowledge that He imparts to us. So we shouldn't think highly of ourselves. We're not looking down our noses at other believers. We're all in this together, and we're all at different levels, and we all need to seek to do what we can do. We're supposed to hate sin. As a righteous person, you're supposed to hate sin. The more that you have to confess sin, the more you hate sin. I confess sin all day long. I've confessed sins over and over again, and I felt like a hypocrite so many times that the devil just kept saying, well, he can't forgive you this again for this same sin. It was a stronghold, some things, and it took a long time for me to finally break free of that. I'm starting to see some of that stronghold of gluttony start to go. I'm slowly getting smaller. And I'm more and more not desirous of eating too much, and more and more desirous not of eating pie. Although pie is a hard thing to give up, man. I tell you. But pie and my blueberry preserves on my toast in the morning. Those have been the hardest things, man. Getting back to the verses.
Yep.
So back to the Bible verses. Little by little, I'm getting there. But having the breastplate of righteousness and shoes for your feet, have the readiness to give the gospel. So we're given the gospel not to hold it and put it in a little box and lock it up in the safe and hide it. We're given the gospel to share it. We receive it. We recognize what it is as a great gift, and then we're supposed to give it away. We don't keep it to ourselves. We don't go, oh, nobody else is going to get to see this. I'm just going to take this. And no, you were given the gospel so that you might be saved, and then you're supposed to reproduce. So it's like pyramid marketing, like Zija. You spread it word of mouth. It was before Zija. It was before all pyramid marketing. God's plan was that we share with others face to face. And if you don't do that, if you withhold the gospel, your country will crumble because its immorality will allow the devil to oppress the Christians. And what happens when Christians are oppressed? They scatter and then they tell everybody about Jesus. So every time that we quit sharing on purpose or just get lazy, the devil will come and attack us, and it's God's plan, because then we all go out and scatter out and start telling everybody about Jesus, because we go out from our comfort zone because we got run away by the evil one, and we get scattered. It happened all over the Middle East. It happened all over Asia. It happened all over Europe, and it came to America. And it looks like that Americans, Christians, are enjoying the good life so much that they're not willing to tell their brothers and sisters around them, their family members, and people they work with about Jesus. And so when you don't do that, then you're squandering the gift you've been given, and God will use someone else to fulfill his mission. But if you want to be a part of God's ministry, you need to quit being afraid of what you think people are going to say. You quit listening to the lies of the devil, and you're supposed to be sharing the gospel. So we hit 3 tonight. We hit the breastplate of righteousness. We hit the gospel of shoes, which is to carry the gospel. At the time of Paul was writing this, he was in bonds. He was in jail for talking about it. So Paul was living the example. And, if we're doing what God has called us to as believers, we should be getting persecuted. We should be being called names. We should be hated by the evil one and his little children. And what else did we do? We did drawing blanks here. We did the breastplate. We did the shoes. We've already done the helmet last week. Sword of the Spirit. How could I forget the sword of the Spirit? All right. So we'll wrap this series up probably next week with the remaining armor of God. And I apologize for rambling on and on tonight, trying to find a thought. Any questions from the gallery over there?
No, I got them all good. You struck Andrew's nerve while ago when you mentioned pie.
Yeah, what I wouldn't give for a big old piece of blueberry pie or coconut cream pie. All right, let's quit talking about pie.
Yeah.
Have you had? I will talk about off there. There's a pie maker here in Lurie County, and she very seldom makes pies anymore. But I may have to go knock at her door tomorrow. All right, so
yeah.
We want to thank who we want to thank. We want to thank the mo.com for supporting the show. And if you would like to save $20 off an order of $200 or more, use our link mo.com/God and Guns, GODANDGUNS, and that will get you like 10% discount on ammo, which is cool.
Also on the ammo.com too, 1% of their sales, you when you check out, you can pick what charity you would like that to go to, and they send that off of their bottom line. Not they don't pass it on to you as a customer, or take it off of what Troy and I might possibly get. Nothing like that. They send it straight out of theirs, given back to the community, and they got some very good people that they support out there.
Yes, sir. And they got a good library over there too. If you go to ammo.com/articles. And Patreon. We have a lot of great Patreon people out there, and
Yes, we do.
I had got the swag box back from Tim. Apparently I had the wrong address for him. So if you got a recent address, and I'm rambling on there, so I'm sorry. So Patreon, if you want to support us, go to Patreon account, patreon.com/God and Guns, and you can send us a little bit or a lot. Like some people, like Tim Kim, which I was talking about, I'd sent him the swag box he'd won last month or last month, and it came back. And so I've got to get the address for Tim. If he's on air, I'd sent him an email today. So I must have put his email. I put his address down wrong or something because it came back. And I want to thank Tim, by the way, because he sent me a big old box of cigars.
Me too.
And man, you're a generous dude.
Yeah, I know, right?
Thank you very much, Tim. Tim is our Hall of Fame sponsor. We also have Steve Stoner, buddy Steve in Tennessee, Shannon Copeland, Chuck Chettle, and Michael Sheldon. And we also have Michael Eithland, our buddy over at Reloading Podcast, Nick Kostick, and Michael Pelletier. And I think I've got a new one popped up the other day. So, if you're new and you've not seen your name up there, forgive me. I will get it up. I need to get over there and update that. Also, you can join the NRA and use our link, and they will send us a little bit of love. We still have some patches and stickers left. So if you'd like to have a God and Guns patch, I usually have one laying here, but I don't see it. But you guys see it behind me. It's a patch that looks like that, or a sticker that looks like that. So we've got both of those still in stock. Devore, if you like to save money, and if you're an impulse buyer, you probably won't want to go here, because I bought several things on Devore this week. My wife's at the movies right now, so she's probably not watching. So I'm safe tonight. Devore, if you use our link and you sign up, we get like a $10 thing. So we appreciate that. I'm not going to talk about these guys anymore because they've quit sending me any love and they don't talk to me anymore. So I'm deleting them right on the air. All right. So Hoplite Armor. We are a Hoplite Armor affiliate, and our buddy Lyman Bishop up there in Montana, the great frozen north, he has all kinds of body armor. If you need body armor, which who doesn't, check out, use our link and check out Hoplite Armor and see what kind of cool stuff he's got. Zija, I take Zija every day because I have aches and pains and joint problems and stuff. And if you want to know more about Zija, you can go to guns.myzija.com. And you're up, Doug.
All right, Crossbreed holsters. Like I said at the first of the show, if you want a comfortable holster, Crossbreed Holsters makes the best and most comfortable holster that you can get. Let's face it, guys. If you're carrying a gun, you need to be carrying something comfortable. Because if it's not a comfortable holster, you are not going to carry it. That's just the way it is. So Crossbreed makes a holster for pretty much any kind of gun, any kind of situation that you have. They're comfortable, they are reliable, and they're 100% guaranteed. So go check our buddies out, crossbreedholsters.com. Use our promo code GNG and get a discount on me and Troy for just hanging out and listening to the show. Also, Axelson Tactical, which is their new website they launched recently, is axelsonusa.com. And not only do they sell Axelson weapons on there, which you can still get, and they are the most accurate rifles that I've had in my hand. I love them. They're tac drivers. They got pistols. They got knives. They got backpacks. A lot of stuff, but you can also go on their website and you can buy pretty much any kind of gun that you're looking for. And as far as I know, they still have the sale going. They got 25% off on just about everything on their site. So if you're looking for a new gun, go check our buddies out at axelsonusa.com. Use our promo code God and Guns. Now, I did talk to them the other day. When they got the 25% going on, that's more of a discount than what they give us right off the get-go. So take advantage of the 25%, but still use our promo code. Yep. And that way they'll know that you were listening to us when you heard about them.
All right, Interius Alliance. We are Interius Alliance life member. And if you want to know more about Interius Alliance, go to interiusalliance.com and check them out. They support each other. They're a group of veterans and first responders and patriots like me and Doug. Well, Doug's a veteran, and he's also a patriot. And so check those guys out. They give away to different charities that support our military guys and gals and our first responders. And there's just a multitude of charities they give to. So check those guys out at Interius Alliance as well. And this isn't we don't have any affiliation with these guys, but I could pick this thing up and I'm in love with this thing. It's a mag pump. Have you ever seen this?
No.
You put in your 223 5.56 in here, and you stick your AR magazine in the side. If I got one here, I think this one's full. But you put your magazine in the well. It locks in there, and you put your ammo in there, and you just pump. And as you pump it, it just fills that thing up, and you can. Nice. You can load 30 rounds in like 20 seconds. I mean, it's quick. And you can put like 90 to 100 rounds of ammo. You just drop it in that little tray there. And I used that this afternoon. Man, it was slick.
Where'd you find that at?
I saw it somewhere on I saw it on a YouTube video, I think. And they got two versions. They got the plastic one, which is like $120, $119, $120, and then they got all aluminum one. It's like $300. So I thought, well, I'm gonna be loading a lot of magazines this weekend because there's like 750 rounds per person, and there's two of us. That's 1,500 rounds. I didn't think my fingers could handle popping 1,500 rounds in magazines. So I was looking for some way to speed that up, and I think this is gonna work. It's really sturdy, and you can it's got holes so you can mount it, and it's got a quick detach base plate so you can mount it to the bed of your truck or put it on a board or maybe mount it to the top of an ammo can, something like that. And it stands up okay just by itself. I don't know if you can see it there, but you just push that lever, and every time you push that lever, it drops another round in. And when you're doing it, you can see the rounds fall. So it doesn't matter which way you put the bullets in, and the heavy, the bullet end of the round will drop down, which allows it to get pushed into the magazine. And it's really, really easy. The hardest part probably is just loading the hopper, because I just take all my boxes of ammo and dump them in an ammo can, throw a couple of desiccant packs in there. For range ammo and stuff like that. So you just pick them up loose, and you got to keep them lined up. That's the hardest part of the whole thing. Everything else is easy. But it's pretty slick. I mean, if you go to training classes and stuff like that, or you're gonna spend the whole day shooting ARs at the range, it's pretty slick. They got one for a pistol too. I think it's for a Glock 9mm.
That is cool.
Yeah, we used it today. We loaded up probably 10 magazines in just a couple of minutes. So I just thought I'd mention that. We don't get nothing from them or anything like that. Just want to find something cool I like. I'll let you guys know about it. I just thought it was really cool. It's called a mag pump, and that little top part of the hopper has got two pins, pulls out, so it breaks down really small. You can put inside of an ammo can for storage. So I'm thinking about just loading up a whole bunch of magazines in advance, and then just take that with me if we need more than the ammo. The magazine's already loaded. We'll be set. They'll probably get there and say, "Oh, I want you to load 3 rounds, or I want you to load 2 rounds, and we're going to do mag changes." Like, you never know how they're going to run those drills. All right. Go ahead.
Tim is on here. He just replied. He said, "Troy, emailed you back. Hope there's a few cigars in there you enjoy." He said, "I got tired of maintaining my humidor with stuff I couldn't smoke."
Yeah. It's hard to keep those things moist sometimes. I use those packs, those humidity packs, but all my cheap humidors are drying out. They need to be. You got to take them and you got to take a wet cloth, and it has to be like with distilled water, so it has no bacteria in it. And you got to get the inside of those humidors wet, so they swell up and seal up, and then you have to keep that humidity all the time. If they don't have a good tight fit, they'll dry out quick. But no, I've went through a few cigars in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe a week since they came in. I can't remember when they showed up. But my wife has a habit of taking boxes that come into me and just setting them in the hallway, and then I don't know they're there for 4 or 5 days because they're underneath a pair of boots or a jacket or something. But I really appreciate Tim sending those. So you got NRA Armed Citizen?
I do. NRA Armed Citizen Night comes to us from Michigan. Michigan gun owner thwarts street attack, and this was by the A1F staff. Every
you're dropping out,
even something as simple as walking your dog can put a. Am I?
Just now.
How about now? Can you hear me now? All right. Here we go. Let's try again. Even something as simple as walking a dog can put a person in harm's way, but a Michigan woman was able to withstand a recent threat because she was carrying. While the woman was carrying a gun.
Presumably?
She was. No, she was. You hear that in the story here in a moment. While the woman was taking her dog on a nightly walk, a stranger came up from behind her and grabbed her. The armed citizen responded by pressing her handgun against the alleged assailant's gut. The pet owner had been on a heightened state of awareness because she had seconds earlier noticed a black van with no windows idling on the side of the street ahead of her. When she noticed a man getting out of the vehicle and strolling parallel to her as she walked her dog. The uneasiness of the situation prompted her to grip her gun while it was still in her jacket pocket. When the man later took hold of her coat, she drew her gun, pushing it into his stomach area, and reportedly said, "I don't want to kill you." The thug scurried off, and that came to us out of Chicago, actually.
The news was out of Chicago.
Yeah, news was out of Chicago. Fox 32 Chicago.
Cool. It's good that they're reporting that in Chicago. That's pretty cool.
It is. It is.
Whew. I was going to say something else, and I forgot what it was. I think I need to go home.
Hey, I was going to also say one thing. My buddy Rick, I saw him. He was on earlier listening to us. I don't know if he's still on there now or not. It's
you're probably putting him to sleep.
It's getting late. Some guys are dropping off. But congratulations, Rick. He killed his first turkey. Yesterday, I think it was. He got a nice one. So
cool.
That was his first one. So congratulations.
I've heard turkeys gobbling here like crazy. I know it's turkey season.
It is.
I have not been out, and I've been hearing somebody blast them down the end of our farm to the north. Somebody's over on our property. I think I heard someone blasting over yesterday, so I may have to go down there and scurry them off. But we've got like 25 turkeys in our backyard, like every other morning, rooting around that alfalfa field.
We can fix it.
I know. I'd like to fix it, but it just seems like everything else gets in the way. All right, so Let's wrap this up before we offend somebody, or before I fall out of this chair. We're gonna. You got anything else, Doug? Before I wrap it up,
I'm good, man. Very good.
there's something else I'm wanting to say, and I don't remember what it was, and it may come to me, and it may not. But we'll get her done. Send your feedback to Troy at GuidingGunsPodcast.com.
Or Doug at GuidingGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/Guiding Guns Podcast. Facebook is growing, man. It's been growing like crazy here lately. So we appreciate you guys sharing articles. And I know we got several really dedicated people. We now have, if you're in our inner sanctum, and I haven't sent you a link yet, we have a Facebook. What do they call it, Doug? Elders Circle or something like that. Elders. Yeah. So that's a closed group that only people who are invited or who answer the questions can get into. And if you have friends that have never watched the show, don't invite them if you're in that group. We want people that are regular listeners who want to converse with me and Doug and each other about topics and share information. That's for you guys. For you guys that are regular listeners, for you guys that are always sending us stuff and supporting us, we want to have that with you guys. So that's what that is about. And so if you got an invitation to that, if you accept that, if you know other listeners that are like you that talk, that support our show, that buy the products of the people who support our show, things like that. And I'm getting to the point where I'm just almost. Well, I'll talk to you about after the show, but there's some things going on that's really getting under my skin. All right, so you can subscribe to us and follow us on YouTube, and there's a link there for that. I'm not going to read it here. You can follow us on Twitter, and you can search for us on Instagram. And MeWe is our go-to site. Should we all disappear? Oh, there is a new site that called Gunstreamer that we're going to try to start posting all of our videos to and content to. So nice. It's like it's supposed to be better than Full 30. So you guys are Full 30 fans. It's supposed to be easier for us gun media people to put our stuff on. And it's supposed to be a lot better operating platform. Plus, Firearms Radio Network is doing a lot of things to improve the quality of that website and to support us as Guiding Guns. I mean, support each of the channels. They're doing a lot of things to try to improve that quality as well. So if you guys run into any of the Farms Radio Network guys, Sean, Heron, and those guys, tell them you appreciate them doing that and helping us out there. And there's some other things coming up. We got a meet and greet for all of the Farms Radio Network group. It's going to be at Sun King Brewery, and I'm not drinking. Doug might, I don't know. Lister meetup at NRA on Saturday night at NRA up there in Indianapolis. And there's going to be a bunch of us Farms Radio Network guys. I'm going to endeavor to be there, but we'll be at the Crossbreed Holsters booth for sure. I don't know are you going to make it up, Doug? NRA?
I'm trying. I'm going to try to.
So I've got hotel reservations and all that stuff. And the kids, my older kids, have said that they're going to go or they wanted to go. And so we may have the whole family there. And if so, it's going to be a madhouse, but we'll get it done. But I look forward to seeing any of you guys able to go. If you're a listener to the show, if you're planning on going to the NRA in Indianapolis coming up here, May? What is it? I don't have a calendar in front of me. Is it the end of this month or is it? No,
it's May.
May something. May. It's not that. May. Not that. Must be the 18th. No, it's Ham Convention. May 4th? Nope.
Hang on a second.
No, I think it's in April.
There it was right there. It is
April 27th, April 20th, 5th through the April 26th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th.
Yeah, 28th is just a Sunday morning service. Like
They do the prayer breakfast and stuff that morning.
Breakfast. Yeah, and then there's like one other speaker like at noon or something on Sunday. But we're probably going to be out there Saturday evening because we're not that far from Indianapolis. I got 2 or 3 drivers now, so I don't have to.
What is it? A couple hours up there from you?
Let's see. From Louisville, it's about 2 hours, and we're about 40 minutes south there. It's about 2.5 to 3/4 hours from here, so it's not bad. Yeah, that's the end of this month. So it's just a couple weeks.
It is.
NRA is coming up. So we will see you guys. I will see you. Doug may see you and be at the Crossbreed booth. And if you're going to be there for sure, let me know what day you're going to be there, and then we'll try to arrange a meetup somewhere. All the venues near the convention center down there are booked up like a year in advance. So if you were going to try to get into a restaurant, for a meet and greet, we had to the Farms Rail Network had to go almost a mile from the nearest venue. Anything in walking distance is booked up way in advance, big enough to hold anything. And then John Patton's is part of the Farms Rail Network now, and so he and Adam brain freeze. Adam Kraut. They do the whatever it is they do, their show. they've got a all panel thing. If you guys been in the NRA to their thing, they give away all kinds of prizes and stuff like that from their sponsors. So there's going to be a bunch of us guys there. I know that Mike Island's supposed to be there from Reloading Podcast. I know Sean's going to be there, and the Week Alike shooting guys are going to be there. So encourage you guys to let me know if you comment and what days you're going to be there, and send me your text information if you want to, if you trust me with that kind of information, and I'll let you know where I'll be at for those guys that are going to be there. I'm going to try to be there Friday and Saturday. That's what I have planned. I'm going to try to get in there like early Friday morning, but I probably will come in Thursday night. I'm an NRA Life benefactor, so I've got a whole lot of those things I get to go to, those meetings and stuff, so I don't know if I'm going to make it to all that junk, but especially the way they've been behaving lately. But it's a good time to see all the different products that are available out there and get to see all of our friends from the gun industry, and you get to see Murray and Nathan and all of our buddies at Crossbreed. And I talked long enough, it finally came to me. You guys know Paul Markle. Be in prayer for him. He has been diagnosed with cancer. I don't know what kind, the details of it, but I told him I'd be praying for him, and want you guys, there are prayer warriors out there, and be praying for Paul. He has moved out of Wyoming and has moved to Salt Lake City to get treatment. Last I heard, there's like what he's got diagnosed with has like a 80% survival rate. Steve Stone, everybody, Steve down in Tennessee, is the one who let me know about it, because I hadn't really been following. I've been so busy, I haven't really been following any of the other shows or any of our friends lately. I've just been so self-absorbed lately with stuff going on in our house that I have not been following that. So Paul Markle, you guys know that he's a good friend of ours, and we've had a pretty long relationship with him and Jared and all the gang over there at the farm and at the
Student of the Gun.
Student of the Gun. Man, I need to go to bed. It's almost 11 o'clock. Everybody else probably gone. All right, so let's go wrap it up. So website is probably still down. GuidingGunsPodcast.com. Until next time, Doug, have a blessed week.
Hey, keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Good night, y'all. Sorry for rambling and losing my mind. I'm not even going to try to edit this thing. It's just going to go out there all confused and crazy. Anybody else left out there? Everybody's asleep?
I think
everybody's going.
We still had a couple, but good night, everybody.
Good night.